Iran is facing massive protests, with demonstrators demanding change and authorities responding with deadly force and an internet blackout. US President Donald Trump has once again warned of possible military strikes, while Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vows the Islamic Republic that it will not back down. For 13 straight days, Iranians have taken to the streets. In Tehran, cars and a building were set ablaze. Crowds shouted slogans including "Long live the Shah," while in Badr Abbas, demonstrators overturned a police vehicle.
Azadi, Azadi, Azadi.
In Tehran's Sadatabad district, people were seen banging pots and chanting slogans against Khamenei. Cars honked in support as crowds gathered. Similar scenes played out in Mashhad, Tabriz and the holy city of Qom. Human rights groups say at least 65 protesters, including 9 children, have been killed by security forces, with hundreds more injured. As unrest sweeps the country, social media videos surfaced earlier showing the extent of damage. In Tehran, protesters set a fire to a police kiosk as crowds gathered in defiance. In Yazd, demonstrators torched a banner, their anger visible in the flames. And in Karaj, video showed people running as shots rang out in the night. Amnesty International condemned the blanket internet shutdown, accusing authorities of trying to hide grave human rights violations. Internet monitor NetBlocks confirmed a nationwide shutdown over the past 24 hours, saying it masks regime violence and violates the rights of Iranians. As protests in Iran rage, US President Donald Trump issued another warning to Iran's government, cautioning against the killing of protesters. He said that if authorities resort to violence, the United States would respond by hitting Iran very hard where it hurts.
So Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts.
But Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei struck a defiant tone in a televised speech, dismissing protesters as vandals and saboteurs. He accused President Trump of having hands stained with the blood of more than 1,000 Iranians, referencing last year's war with Israel, backed by US strikes.
US President Donald Trump's hands are stained with the blood of more than 1,000 Iranians. Everyone knows the Islamic Republic came to power with the blood of hundreds of thousands of honorable people. It will not back down in the face of saboteurs.
Meanwhile, exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi has urged US President Donald Trump to urgently intervene as protests rage in Iran. He cited internet blackouts and threats of force, calling on Iranians to overwhelm security forces against the regime. Furthermore, Iranian Nobel Peace Laureate Shirin Ebadi warned that security forces may be preparing a massacre under the cover of a nationwide communications blackout. She said the internet shutdown was not a technical failure, but a deliberate tactic to conceal abuses. Let's take a look at Iran's map, where all protests are taking place. According to human rights activist news agency in Iran, in the last 13 days, 2,311 people were arrested, with demonstrations spanning 31 provinces and 180 cities. Now, these included Karaj, Qom, Shiraz, Isfahan, Tabriz, Mashhad, Badr Abbas and Zahedan, among others. Earlier, we spoke to Hafid Botalib. He is a geopolitics and international relations analyst. Listen into what he has to say on condemnation against Khamenei and his regime and the outrage of protesters.
Combined action between the Israeli intelligence, Israeli Air Force, and American intelligence, quite the same that we have witnessed in Qatar with the one that targeted Doha in 25. But this one would be more closer to the one that took place in Caracas last week, and this would be more an operation of abduction of Ali Khamenei by Israeli intelligence and supported by American intelligence and American Air Force. That might be considered seriously in case if a bloodbath comes again as the single answer of Iranian regime to the protesters' needs. And this is so far what seems to be ahead.
We also spoke to journalist and Kurdish politics analyst Aso Saleh, who described what this protest in Iran means for the Kurdish community and what is the impact. Listen in.
For more than a century, Iran has been governed by a highly centralized system that has denied non-Persian people their basic national, cultural, and linguistic rights. As a result, in regions like Kurdistan, these national demands have always been a top priority. Over nearly 5 decades of rule by the Islamic Republic, Kurdistan has resisted in many forms, for instance, armed resistance in past and to sustained popular protests. It has also paid the highest price in the recent process in these days. The number of people killed in Kurdistan is several times higher than in other parts of Iran.